Welcome to Mompreneur Truth Talks. I'm Lisa Avila, business strategist and mom of 3 busy teenagers. Are you building something incredible but wondering why success feels so complicated? Maybe you dream of making a big impact, but you keep asking yourself, is it possible to grow without sacrificing the moments that matter most as a mom? Here's my take. Life isn't about balance, but instead harmony. I've been there in the weeds, juggling soccer practices, struggling with Common Core math. Seriously, why is it so confusing? And running a business. Along the way, I realized that with the right strategic design, you can create harmony between your work and life without compromising what matters most to you. In this podcast, I'll share practical strategies and real-life solutions to help you find that harmony. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mompreneur Truth Talks. Today, I have Holl-Lee Lawrence. She is a LMFT, licensed marriage. Wait, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Licensed marriage and family therapist. She is a registered yoga teacher. She is all the things. She's also a mom, and that's why she's here today. Hi, Holl-Lee.
Hello.
I forgot one of your things. Oh, certified perinatal mental health.
Perinatal
right?
mental health certification through Postpartum Support International.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Well, it took me a really long time to get, so
Yeah. So
that one was hard.
let's celebrate it.
Woo.
Yes. So thank you for being here today. I want to jump right in. You are a mompreneur. You help other moms. And I would love to know how you got into this. What made you so passionate about helping other moms?
Well, I started my own private practice shortly after the birth of my second child. I had worked for the county for about a decade, and I realized with 2 children under the age of 2, I really needed to be able to do things my way. But as I started getting into owning my own business, I realized I also was experiencing a lot of perinatal anxiety, and that was really difficult. I didn't understand it, and when I don't understand something, I go all in on trying to master it, make sense of it. I had this realization, if I'm having this hard of a time and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, there must be a lot of other moms who are really struggling, especially during COVID. So I got the certification, and I really tailored my practice to working predominantly with new moms, moms struggling with infertility, or marriage issues related to having had children.
You are so needed in this world. Thank you.
Yes. But then I started realizing through specializing and working with moms that a big part of what was going on was a lack of community, lack of a village, and also a need for more physical movement. That a lot of times in motherhood, we're moving all day long, but it's not necessarily intentional, or it's not necessarily like strength building or endurance building. And so my best friend Kendra and I started Whole Mama Fitness as a specialty mom-focused fitness program where we also were creating the village. We had a group chat. We're doing intention setting. We're doing circle time. We're all sharing and helping each other with our kids. And that's kind of where the yoga teacher training came in, because then I was like, I'm recognizing what a beautiful change I'm seeing in the mamas I'm working with as they are also finding their own fitness outlets, as they're finding their villages, as we're really promoting endurance, protein intake, all of these really, really physical in nature things. Their anxiety is reducing. They're feeling more connected. Their marriages are better. And so I was like, I need to be able to run these classes myself as well, so we can have as many fitness outlets for moms where they can bring their kids as possible. So that's where that came from.
Yes. And you are on Instagram, right?
Yes. Embrace Wellness 805.
Yes.
And Whole Mama Fitness 805 if you're looking for the fitness program.
And 805, we are on the central coast of California.
Oh, yes.
Those of who don't know, they may know the beer, 805 from Firestone, but
yes, we're more than just a beer.
We are.
Yeah.
So is this a membership, or can moms just show up, pop in?
You can just drop in. Yeah, we do offer memberships, but we have 2 classes running, Mondays 9 a.m. yoga, and then Wednesdays 9 a.m. strength training. And over on our Instagram, you can get all the details about it. We also post a lot of tips for like quick fitness if you'd like to do something at home and you're busy, or nutrition. This week's specialty is protein powders. So every day we're posting different things about how to get more protein intake, just different stuff. But yeah, we've got two workouts per week in Atascadero right now.
This is so wonderful. And what I love about you is that you post your stories, what you're eating, what you're cooking, what your kids like. And it makes me feel like, oh, if she can do that, I can do that. I could try that, that recipe.
Sure.
Because you're working, you've got kids, you're going all over the place, you're volunteering in the classroom. Wait a second, hold up. Aren't you a coach? Like a baseball coach also?
Listen, all I ever wanted was to be a mom. Like when I was trying to conceive and having a hard time, like you would hear me talking about, I know that this day will be over and someday I will coach and I knew I was going to have boys. Like there was something deep inside of me that just knew I was going to have boys. And I would say, I cannot wait for the day that I coach my son's baseball team. And so I get like a little bit emotional thinking about it, but like this is all I ever wanted, was to be the kind of parents that I had in my childhood. Was really, really lucky. And I also am passionate about working with moms who haven't had that same, who have experienced a mother wound, or who didn't get to have the all-in mom who was like you and I are, available, rearrange our schedule to make sure our kids come first, that they know mom is going to be there. She's going to be annoying. She's going to maybe be embarrassing, but she is going to be there. And I know all my kids' friends. I know their teachers. It's very important to me, especially having had worked with at-risk youth. I watched kiddos not necessarily have an involved parent or a trustworthy person who is always going to be there. And so it's my kind of mission to make sure that my life in this phase is focused on them. And I enjoy it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. Like last year I did it and I was like, this is something that really works for me. Because a lot of people are like, oh my God, you do so much. And I'm like, maybe so. But again, like on our last chat, everything I do, it is purposeful. It aligns with my values and it brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but like that's okay.
That's okay. I mean, life is hard, but we choose, sometimes we get to choose the hard that we want and get in the flow of it, or try to.
And I know, like with coaching, I know Thursdays are going to be a grind. I'm going to have 3 hours of 5 to 7-year-old boys that I'm coaching. But on the other hand, I make sure on Thursdays I do fun things. Like in the morning, I make sure I do yoga, that I meditate, that I, see a friend or do something positive, and not just work, and then go straight to practice, because I have control over my life.
Yes.
And so
you're prepping for the 5 to 7-year-olds. Which
and I know that it really is. We have great teams, and I one thing I have learned is I will not coach 2 teams again. But on the other hand, I wanted to make sure it was fair. So I coached my son's first year last year, so I'm coaching my younger son's first year this year, and every single boy from our team last year returned to our farm team this year. So I was like, that's fantastic. They all had a good experience and wanted to play again. So
yes, which is so important in rec sports, because I'll just say it.
You've got big kids.
I do, but through the years, and it's usually dads that are coaching, and some of these dads, I'll just say it, maybe they, were a high school athlete and they're still trying to carry that forward into their 40s. And, 5 and 7, 8, 9, whatever, they don't need that. They just need to have fun. Yes, they need the basic skills, but they don't need someone yelling at them. So thank you for being the mom that steps up and says, I'm going to teach you, but we're also going to have fun so that you want to keep going.
Yeah. And it is. We set a really positive culture. I've got 2 co-coaches or assistant coaches on our farm team, and they're both amazing dads who are like, if we hear any heckling from the sidelines or any nonsense, one of them will make it, hey, they're 7. We're good. Like, just let them live. They're out here. They're doing something positive. And that's the other part, is like, I watched all these boys I used to work with not have the structure, or not have an adult saying, you're going to play this sport. You might not be the best at it, but you're going to play. It gives you purpose and it gives you integrity. It helps you be a team player. And I mean, your boys are like living proof of that, right? They are all athletes. They're all like going. They're thriving because you as a parent said, this is something you've got to do. Like, you've got to go to practice, and it's going to be a hard thing on you, right? You're going to have to get their gear ready. You're going to have to leave work to get them there, but it's worth it.
It's worth it. If you can make it work, it's definitely worth it. But I will always remember having to put on soccer socks when they were little, and just it was torture. It was just, yeah, but it was worth it.
That's our life with baseball cleats right now. I'm like, we need to budget like an extra 10 minutes. And then they decide they like are magically dancers or like gonna like take on a new thing the moment that I try and put their cleats on. They're just doing the Irish jig. And I'm like, what? In what world is this what we need to be doing right now? Like they just sit and let's put it on. But yeah. The coaching isn't so bad, but the cleats
and the soccer socks. Yeah.
And telling them you cannot bring your baseball bag in the car with you. You need to put it in the back because they're just whipping their bat around everywhere and like being like there's some safety concerns, but it's mostly fun. So I know this isn't what we came to talk about, but I really do.
No, but youth sports is a huge thing. I mean, and it's, for any, I mean, there's dance, there's all kinds of different things when your kids are growing up and you're trying to figure out when you're working, how the heck am I going to get them to that 3:30 practice or whatever it is? And it is a lot of juggling, but looking back now, it was worth finding snacks to take on Saturdays. It was worth everything. So
the amount of snacks.
The amount of snacks is no.
Yeah. I feel like that's what we think about constantly as moms is like, okay, if I take him at this time and then in practices at this time, how much snacks are we going to need to make this a manageable situation? Like I've just got a whole section of my car that's just snacks. Like grocery outlet sees me coming. They're like, she's back again.
More snacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they move to teenagers and it's more snacks and more meals.
Yeah. And then then if you're the house where their friends come over, then it's like snacks times 10.
Yes. And I do want to address that really quickly. Like as the kids get older, if you can be the place, which I have found where their friends can come over, they feel safe. They open the refrigerator, they grab whatever they want, they stay for dinner.
Yeah.
I love creating those safe spaces because not all kids have them. And so that is important for me. So I recognize that in you as well of not everyone has a safe space growing up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's nice too for us to know their friends. Like I try not to be over involved. I let them do their thing, but like I do like to know who they're hanging out with. I'm friends with all of their friends' parents. Just, that these are the pivotal years of really like building those bonds and paying attention. And that's also like where my business model lies is as long as I am able to be available to my kids and they know that they're a higher priority than my work. That's how I judge how I'm doing.
Yes. Yeah. And
again, I never say that judgmentally because I also recognize I come from a place where I have a husband who works full time. And so I'm able to have this private practice and, also like moonlight as a fitness instructor and do those things. And that's like, I feel very, very blessed that how hard we worked before kids to be able to have this lifestyle and that not all people have that. So I never want to come from a place that isn't pure gratitude and appreciation for. I don't want to mouth off because not all people are able to do it this way. But if you can or make those changes to be able to, it's really lovely.
Yes. I appreciate how you put that. I go straight in for it. That's our privilege. And I mean, it is. And when I talk about family first business, I realize not everyone can do that. You can take little steps. I talk with clients all the time of it doesn't have to be an all in. You can do it at night, on the weekends, just follow your passion like you did of just, this seems to be the next step and I'll go with that. And then see what it turns into as more money comes in, as your kids grow and you have more time. So it's just about what works for you and your family.
Yeah. And I think that's where like the certifications, because people are like, what are you doing? You're constantly like doing something new. And I'm like, well, they might not all be like fruitful financially in this moment. But on the other hand, like the more things I have some mastery over, the more opportunities I have to mush them together or to learn from others who are in the perinatal mental health field or who are in the yoga world. Like I'm able to take so many different things now in my private practice and really like offer a diverse array of different services now. So,
yep. And it all does come back around. I mean, I have a master's in education. I'm not exactly using that in this moment. It was funny. My mom said, what are you doing with that? Just recently, because I used to teach. And it's like, well, actually, I'm using it every single day, right?
You are.
I was just talking to a client yesterday about fixed mindset and growth mindset. Okay. So There
Yep.
you go. Which is very important as moms. We need that growth mindset because everything's
Yeah.
coming at us real quickly. And it can be
Yeah.
easy to just freeze and say,
Yeah.
I'm going to go numb, or I'm just going to say, forget it. And so knowing what
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
vision is and where we're going and being,
Yeah.
open to it really helps.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also the being able to not be attached to every single month has to be the same amount of earning. Like, I think that that's for me a big part of the growth mindset is there is going to be certain seasons where maybe I look back at my business bank account and I had an amazing month, but I wasn't coaching. Or another month might have been a little lower, but like I really got to show up extra strong for my kids or spend more time with my family or, whatever it might be, or nourish my nervous system, really lean into other things. And so that the old me or, that late 20s, early 30s was just about what are you showing for it? And not necessarily like, what is your experience of being a small business owner, being a therapist,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to go back to the nourishing yourself because I know it just comes out of me. I say self-care, self-care. And I was doing an interview the other day and she said, that's kind of a term that everybody uses. What does that mean to you? And it made me stop and think about, well, to me, it's all kinds of different things, but I
Yeah.
would love to hear from you because it sounds like to me that that's what you're offering all of these moms is really,
Yeah.
to me, self-care, be it a
Sure.
protein shake or what have you. So I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah. I mean, I just got out of my first session of the day. And one of the things we were talking about is I noticed how moms make sure their kids are so okay. Like literally part of the session, they were talking about, I need my child to eat enough protein. And because otherwise they are grumpy or they crash or they have mood swings or they don't sleep well, etc. And I said, right. So what if you also put yourself in that same position of like, what do I need to thrive? And for me, that's what self-care is. It means that I'm not putting every single moment of my time into making sure my kids are thriving. I can be a good enough mom. And in addition, remember that I'm a human being too. And what things am I going to need to be cared for? So that
Yeah.
to me, it's like a very simple definition. It's self-care. So I'm saying I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier so that I can do my breathing exercises, so that I can stretch, so that I can check in with my own body before I immediately begin checking everybody else's bodies to make sure they're fed, that they're, dressed, that they have all the things they need in their backpack, that I've, thought about what am I going to eat for lunch? Because old me also would just be like, I pack these beautiful lunches for my kids and then I'll figure it out later. Or I just won't eat lunch and I'll eat later. And it's like, no, if I am going to put myself at the top of the list, one of the things I need to do is really thinking about how well is my body functioning? How am I getting enough water? Am I getting enough movement? Am I stopping when my body says stop? Those to me are more definitions of self-care
Yes.
instead of
Ooh.
saying, I'm just going to be a machine and power through.
Stopping when
So
your
it's
body
not
says
necessarily as
stop.
fancy. Yeah, yeah. And sticking with my regular things as well, of like the ways that I do that is by making sure I have my every 3 weeks acupuncture appointment, making sure that I go see the chiropractor, even when I'm doing well. It's like these are just the things that I do to help maintain my vehicle that is my body.
That's
And
such
so,
a
yeah,
good point. Yes,
yeah,
because I'm guilty of this. If I start to feel better, I stop what I'm doing.
right.
I'll stop my
And then you just go
routine.
back to go mode, right? You go to like 100 RPMs.
Yes. And
And it's
then
like,
wonder
wait,
why, oh,
our
my neck hurts
car,
again.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And so finding that pace, that's been my like eternal pursuit, is like finding the pace that's sustainable, finding the type of exercise that's sustainable. That's another piece of the yoga, is like, oh, this is a very sustainable practice. This is something where I'm actually getting more out of it mentally than I am physically even. And that really helps me feel grounded, embodied, present, so that I'm not just, again, going into robot mode or going into overdrive,
Yeah.
because those are the places where we're not really caring for ourselves. We're just doing our to-do list. And so to me, when I'm feeling embodied, when I'm paying attention, when I'm aware of the sensations that are happening in me and around me, I'm really feeling like I'm doing well with the self-care.
Yes. Does everyone hear this? This is like, yes.
Yeah.
Throwing the arms up. Yes. And
Yes.
your whole Mama
Yes.
Fitness, they can bring the kids with them, correct?
Yes. And that's the other part, is a lot of times it's like people just don't do the exercise they would like to do, or go back to the things that they used to because it's too difficult to find, or maybe financially it's not going to work to find a babysitter to get that arranged. They may not have family in town. And so it's like, oh, well, if I have my kids with me, I'm just not going to move my body, or I'm just going to only do, run to chase them, but not necessarily do intentional movement or pelvic floor strengthening or, those types of things. So being able to bring your kids and then have all the rest of us who take turns kind of chasing them or watching them or entertaining them, setting up. Yesterday we had the best obstacle course. It was fantastic. And then, it just ended up naturally one mom would kind of be over there helping the kiddos while the rest were doing the circuit. And so that's the other part of it. And being in community is also a really wonderful form of self-care, especially for overwhelmed moms, where it can be a lot easier to just stay home and power through that list or, do kid activities, but not anything that's actually for them. So.
Yeah, the best thing I did when my kids were little was join a mommy and me when my oldest was 6 months old, and I am still friends with 3 of them. And now my oldest is 20, and it's been just that community because they understand, we support each other through so many different things. And I know sometimes it seems easier to just, like you said, stay home, get through the things, do all the kids stuff, but it's so important. And it has been life-changing of just having these women with me as we move through the different seasons of motherhood.
Yes. And it's something about having similarly aged kids. Like you might still have, I still have my best friends who have kids who are different ages or who don't have kids, but there's something about one of my dear friends I met in birth class, and having our kids 3 weeks apart, you're in the same physical place yourself. You're, expanding and then no longer pregnant and adjusting and all of that, and watching, the milestones and whatever, and figuring out what's actually important and what doesn't matter at all. It's really nice to have somebody else going through that.
And they can check you of really, do you really need to worry about that? Could you
can you please stop tracking the milestones? Can you, it's really not going to matter. Once your kids are in school, no one's going to say, did they walk this time? Or
so true.
Right. But also when you're in it, it's so important and it's so special. And so having other people who care deeply about the same things also, because I would tell somebody else about a milestone or something and they'd be like, yeah, cool. But my mom friend who was in the same phase was like, oh my God, that's amazing. They're holding their head up. Oh, they're doing this. And it's okay, great. It's nice to have someone else to be there for the victories.
Yes, to be your cheerleader. Yeah, we all need that instead of being the cheerleader for everyone else all the time. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
Yes. So Holl-Lee,
that's a good point. That's what it is being able to have other people cheer you on and allowing them to. Because I think also we sometimes can go into this martyr, I don't need that. I wouldn't want to ask for that. I wouldn't want to bother somebody. And it's no, if we love cheering for other people, why do we not let them cheer for us? That's one of the greatest things I've learned is I should be sharing my struggles or my victories and then letting my village cheer me on or lift me up. It's just so much easier that way.
But we don't want to bother anyone. We were, some of us were raised no, stay quiet and stay in your place. Yeah.
There's a lot of work to be done there. And that's definitely one of my missions is it's okay to have needs. You would never tell someone else to not. Right. And so why do we hold ourselves to this unreasonable standard? And we don't want to model that for our kids either, that they have to handle everything all by themselves. No, that's the whole point of what our mission is in motherhood is to make sure they know we're there for them.
Yes. Yeah. Great point. Speaking of needs, let's talk about comfy pants.
Oh, I'd love to.
I thought you might.
That's going to be my next certification. How I can live my entire life never wearing hard pants again.
I love that you call them hard pants too. That's so funny.
They're hard to wear. They are hard on your body. They are not. Yeah, they have pockets, so that's a positive. I'll always find the positive reframe, but.
Of course you do. It's so funny though, because I thought of you. My middle son and I, we went thrifting, and because teenagers, it's all about thrifting these days. I don't know if you know that, but so
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, we had a little date, and so we're going. I'm looking through the jeans, and and I found some maternity jeans, and he said, "What are those? What is that all about? Is that to cover up your big stomach?" So I had to explain to him, it's for when you're pregnant. Yes.
Oh
And
my God.
for a second there, I was thinking, man, I'd really like to bring these home and wear them, even though I'm not pregnant. And I thought of
I had a
you.
client the other day who got maternity overalls, even though she's not pregnant, because she's like, these are really good for certain times of the month when I just want to be able to expand and contract as needed. And I was like, you're a genius. Like, yes, 10 out
Yes,
of 10.
I
She's
am
like, and
here
then
for
I'll
that.
be ready someday when I do need them. But right now I just want them. And I was like, fantastic.
And they have pockets, so you're
It
golden.
made yes, so many pockets. There were so many options. They were great. And she got them thrifting.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
There you go.
$6. Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring maternity jeans back for the menopausal woman.
Just call them menopause jeans.
Hey, but I am
Hey,
all about comfort
yes.
because, right? We are just going in different directions all the time. And sure, we want to look professional, but sometimes we just want to be cozy too. And there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with
I feel
that.
like I do some of my best work and my best thinking when I'm not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When I'm able to just focus on what I'm supposed to be focusing on, not, this is not the call.
That button is really cutting into my stomach.
And then it's like you can't like when you're like in the office, you can't unbutton them. Like that is frowned upon. Like that's not gonna work. So I don't know. I'm always in the pursuit. Like today I'm wearing a jumpsuit because again, there's no discomfort here. So maybe that can be an alternative. It's just
There you go.
jumpsuits.
So,
Yeah.
life lesson, just be comfy. No more hard pants,
Just be
people.
comfy. Yes. And if somebody has an issue with it, they might not be in your inner circle.
There you go. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's how I weed out people who aren't for me.
Oh my gosh, I love it. What is one thing you would tell younger Holl-Lee about your journey or
let me get
about
my
motherhood?
scroll out.
I know. I was like, maybe I should just narrow that down a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Just go with your scroll.
Okay, no, let's see. About motherhood?
Yes.
Okay, I would say let the to-do list go as much as possible. Really focus on taking good care of yourself, of myself as a mom, not trying to replicate my old way of existence, that how I was or how I was able to function before children, and then taking more of a sacred pause and more time to learn about myself rather than try and mush myself into an old mold that was broken and wasn't supposed to be for me anymore. Being more graceful with my entry into motherhood and into recognizing I've never done this before. There's no way I'm going to be an expert at it. I don't need to be a perfectionist here. I don't need to make my body a certain thing. I don't need to make my house a certain thing. Like I just need to be present to learn. I wish I had had more of the mindfulness practice that I currently have. I wish that I had established that maybe before, prioritizing my ability to tolerate discomfort without having to act on it or without having to compensate for it. I think also, again, allowing myself to accept more help or to be more open sooner about this is very, very hard and very unfamiliar. I'm having some feels about it. I think that probably would be another thing that I would tell myself. Just be graceful and kind to yourself.
Yeah, be kind to yourself. That's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a really good one. And a good
Yeah.
reminder every day until it becomes a habit.
Yeah. Yep. And figuring out like where also like honestly like understanding my energy cycles better. Like when do I have the most energy versus not? What things socially are worthwhile and which ones are not? Like I also I wish that I had told my new mom self that alcohol will not make anything better. Alcohol is not going to help. It is not going to actually be the stress reliever that you need because there's nobody coming the next morning to be a backup for you. And anxiety actually spikes after drinking. And so for me, I did make it 5, 6 years into motherhood until I stopped drinking. So that's what I would probably teach myself as well, if I could.
Yeah. Okay, you can roll that scroll back up. That was a good one.
Thank you. I feel like I covered enough points there. Yeah.
No, but those are all so valid and so true.
Yeah.
Of taking that time for the grace of it and the learning. Nobody tells us what motherhood is going to be like, and then it's wham. And so it's really easy to pick up that glass of wine. Yeah. And you're right.
Like
the next day you still have to get up.
By the time you become a mom. Yeah. And by the time you become a mom, you've probably for me, I had mastered a career. And so I was in a place of like being good at things and having them come relatively easily. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't like, I was in a leadership position at my old career. I had like developed a program. I, was doing things well and easily. And I wasn't prepared for a whole bunch of new and unfamiliar things while sleep deprived and confused and having been feeling like you've been hit by a truck. And so I think that like, I wish that I could give my old self more grace for like, give yourself that whole year to just learn and experiment and, get to know your new self instead of trying to be still very productive or have it all together or look a certain way.
Yeah. That's good. I love that. Can you remind women, moms, where to find you on Instagram so they can follow along with all your fun tips and tricks?
Yes. So on Instagram, I'm at Embrace Wellness 805. And then for any fitness and health related topics, we're at Whole Mama Fitness 805. And they're both on Instagram. You can find me there. You can also email me, Embrace Wellness. Yeah, they're really fun. And my partner on Whole Mama Fitness, she's really good at Instagram. She's really good at making cute videos and she always has great ideas. So we're really rolling on there right now. And it's a great program. If you're interested in checking it out, we've got some specials coming up for April. So you can check them out on Instagram. And we would love to have you.
Oh, thank you for being here, Holl-Lee. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, learn from you, and remember that, we can do this. It just takes some grace and patience with ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for all you're doing. I love your platform and everything that you're offering. So thank you for taking the time this morning.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you next time on Mompreneur Truth Talks. Bye-bye.
Woohoo. Bye.
Thank you for spending time with me today in Mompreneur Truth Talks. Before you go, please do me a quick favor. If this episode spoke to you, please like, follow, or leave a review. Your feedback helps other ambitious moms find these conversations about designing a business and life that work together. All right, moms, I'll see you next time. And remember, success isn't about sacrifice or balance. It's about creating harmony and taking action steps that feel right for you.